Hi everyone, my name is Eric from Bento Gaming. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching this video. Um, it's been a crazy week. There has been so much going on in the Pokemon world. Since I made the last video about Pokemon evolutions, the prices has continued to soar. Some of the box collections, they are just wiped off the shelves at my local Walmart and Toys R Us. People are going crazy for the evolutions packs and Charizards. So at the same time, I noticed there's a lot of videos on YouTube are just going off about the evolutions, Charizards, and whatnot. So I'm not going to talk about that today. So with this crazy market right now, I want to talk about how to start collecting Pokemon cards, okay? Or where to start collecting Pokemon cards. I know a lot of you are new to the hobby, or maybe a little bit younger in the hobby where you might have very limited budget to spend on this hobby. So I thought this might be a good time to revisit this topic. I know a lot of YouTube videos cover this already, but I figured I will put my own spin to this topic. So let's look at the current market, okay? So Pokemon card came into the market in 1999, okay? So that was Gen 1 about 24 years ago. Fast forward to 2020 today, we're now at Gen 8, okay? So since Gen 1 to Gen 8, there has been so many new Pokemons. Beyond the 151, I really don't know very many of the 152 and beyond Pokemons. So you can imagine with 8 generations of Pokemon, there has to be so much Pokemon products that came with it, right? So it becomes overwhelming to even decide where to start collecting. Do we start from base set? From Gen 1 base set WotC era? Do we start from the EX era with Ruby, Sapphire? I don't know, something like that. Do we start with XY era? Do we start Sun and Moon era? Or do we start with Sword and Shield era? There's just so much products in the market that it's overwhelming. Plus, now we're talking about like people getting into the artist autograph cards, and then on top of that, we're fueling the fire with the red hot market. So I know there's only so much money for majority of us that we can spend on this hobby. So let's look at where we're gonna start collecting and maybe how we can start collecting. Okay, so the first thing first, very important, is know your budget. Okay, if you're younger, you might not necessarily have a lot of financial commitments, so your budget might be a little bit more flexible. So you still have to figure out, hey, where am I going to get the money from? Is it by doing chores, pocket money, allowance, or is it from your part-time job? For some of us who might be a little bit older, have a little bit more financial commitments, you might need to sit down and break down all your monthly bills, and then at the end, what do you have left? After maybe stashing aside a little bit for savings, for rainy day fund, maybe we have $50 a month, $100 a month. For some of us, maybe $1,000 a month. I don't know. It all comes down to each individual person. But the most important take home today is know your budget, okay? And you got to commit to sticking to your budget, okay? If you say you have $50 wiggle room every month, then that's all you're gonna spend, $50, okay? And be prepared to sacrifice, okay? So what that means is either you're gonna give up your time. You might have to work some overtime if you want to buy certain things. For example, you might want to buy a sealed box of evolutions that's now $550, and you only have $50 saved. You might have to sacrifice a few nights and work a couple overtimes, or for those of you younger, you might have to sacrifice maybe your Friday night, and you might have to pick up an extra shift at Pizza Hut or McDonald's or wherever you work at, okay? Or you might have to go pick up maybe a couple more shifts babysitting for some of your clients. So whatever you do, you might have to sacrifice some time, okay, to increase your income in order to purchase some of the items in the red hot market right now. Other sacrifice could be you might have to trade some of your existing cards to get some of the cards that you want. Okay. Another thing that's going on in the market is that don't get sucked into the whole fear of missing out. Okay. When you get suckered into the fear of missing out, that's where you run into trouble. Okay. It's so easy to just link your credit card onto your PayPal or eBay, and next thing you know, you're bidding, and we're now down to the final 60 seconds. Oh yeah, the final 60 seconds, okay? No one is bidding until the last 30 seconds, maybe. And next thing you know, you're just increasing the bid, and instead of spending $50 for that month, next thing you know, you're spending $223 on one card, okay? Because you feel that if you don't buy this card, there won't be another one in the market, or one that would be within your budget. Okay, it's not gonna happen. There will always be Pokemon cards out there, even if it's a rare card. Okay, if you're patient enough, the next one will come around. Might not be tomorrow, might be a year from now, maybe 10 years from now. I don't know, but the moment you get suckered into the fear of missing out mentality, that's when you lose control. That's when you start to blow your budget. And that's where we start to get ourselves into a deeper hole. So let's go into where are we going to start then. So with 8 generations of Pokemon, 24 years in the hobby now, the base set is the one that I think most people know about. $220,000 base set booster box, $220,000 for a first edition base set Shadowless Charizard PSA graded. We all know about those cards. But just because Gen 1, just because it's the first base set of Pokemon cards, just because it was printed by Wizards of the Coast, does that mean you should start with Gen 1? Does that mean you should start with base set? I don't think so. How about let's start with what was memorable to you? Okay. When I started back in the hobby about maybe 5 years ago, cards weren't too expensive back then. Okay, compared to today, cards were cheap back then. But did I went back and started a base set? No. Instead, I went and bought a PSA 9 first edition Dark Raichu from the Team Rocket set. Why did I pick that card of all cards in the secondary market? The base set didn't really trigger me much because I've opened the base set many times. I have a full, complete, unlimited base set and binders at the current moment. So base set didn't really excite me. But the Dark Raichu did, because the Dark Raichu was the first secret rare that was printed in the WotC era. Okay. That Dark Raichu I've never pulled when I was a child. Never gotten that card, never through trades, never pulled out of a booster pack. So I never got that card. I've seen that card, but I've never owned that card. So 4 or 5 years ago, after watching some of Scott's videos, Scott as an SM Pratt, if you don't know, follow him, watch his videos, very informative. So I bought that card. I didn't buy PSA 10 because at that point I was like, why buy PSA 10 when I could get it for much less for PSA 9 for near perfect? So yeah, I think it was like $40 when I bought it back then. Okay, so that card it triggered me. Okay, it excited me because now I get to own a piece of history that I never had the chance to own when I was a kid. It was only $40, but it got me excited and it got me back into the hobby. So start with what was memorable for you. Which card gave you joy? Joy is in, like I said, which triggered you, okay? Which card brought you back happy memories? Maybe it was a Greninja. Maybe it was just a Squirtle. Maybe it was just a Psyduck. Okay, it doesn't need to be rare. It doesn't need to be holographic card. It doesn't need to be like ultra secret rare. It just needs to be something that has some connection to you when you were a child. So that's where I'll probably start, because chances are that card might not be a very expensive card, and probably for sure is not the most expensive card in the hobby right now. Another starting point could be modern products. Okay, modern products are very inexpensive, very affordable. If we look at right now, modern products would consist of, in my opinion, anything in the Sword and Shield block for sure. Okay, those are all still in print, so that would include Sword and Shield Base, Rebel Clash, Darkness Ablaze, and pretty soon Vivid Voltage. Okay, in a few more weeks. Even some of the Sun and Moon block. Okay, we're still seeing packs of those being put into these collection boxes. Okay, and if it's not being put into it, you can still find them probably in your big box stores and maybe even some of the hobby stores. Okay, those are still relatively inexpensive, and they offer some amazing artwork, some amazing textures in the cards. Okay, so some of the gold secret rares, the gold Ultra Ball, in my opinion, is very iconic. The new Sword and Shield gold cards are very iconic as well. Full art trainers, something that I never had when I was a kid with WotC era. So I find those cards very undervalued, very unique, amazing artwork as well. And of course, we mentioned Vivid Voltage, and it looks very promising with Vivid Voltage. We have a new rarity coming up. It's called the Amazing Rares. Okay, the background of the artwork gets like tie-dyed splash, colorful artwork. Even though it's not full art, but it's still amazing. Something different, something new, something to get excited about. Gets people in the hobby excited about. The VMAX cards again is something new and different textures. Okay, so modern products would be a great place to start. Okay, if you enjoy the artwork, you enjoy the texture of the cards, and you have a very limited budget, start with that. You might not know all the Pokemon, but you'll still know some of the older ones. Okay, Pokemon still print some of the older Pokemon in the modern sets. They still have the original 151s here and sprinkled and throughout here and there. Okay, so for example, if you're a Charizard collector, you like Charizard, well, guess what? You can find Charizard VMAX and Darkness Ablaze. You might not know what VMAX is, but you'll know what Charizard is. It might not be the exact same thing, but it's still a Charizard variant, I guess you could say. If you like Charmander, you'll still find Charmander in these sets. If you like Squirtle, you'll still find Squirtles in these sets. You like Mewtwo, you'll find Mewtwo in some other sets eventually. But they're in the blocks for sure. Okay. Another ones worth mentioning are the Sun and Moon tag teams. Okay, is where you get two Pokemon in one card. Again, we don't have that type of thing in the WotC era, so that's something unique, and I find that very interesting. And so these modern products are not just for kids nowadays. Okay, it's for adults too. Okay, you can enjoy these cards and still have fun, and you don't have to sell an organ for it. Okay, you don't have to break your bank for it. Another area you can start is the Japanese products and promo cards. This is a great place to start because Japanese products, you usually get them 2-3 months before English products are released in North America and other parts of the world. Japanese cards tend to have better quality. Some people like the white silver border versus the yellow border. Okay, so I know I've been a big fan of the Dream League, which is English version of Cosmic Eclipse. I love the character rares in the Japanese version. I think it's more subtle with the white silver border compared to the bright yellow border in the English version. And again, Japanese products, will get them 2-3 months before the English side. Japanese promos, another great place to start. They're not very expensive, and many of them don't translate to English. Okay, some of these are Pokemon Center exclusives in Japan only. So, for example, Kanazawa Pokemon Center that's opening on November 20th. There's going to be a special collection box with a Pikachu in there. So that has a very unique artwork as a female Pikachu, and it will have a Pokemon Center stamp on it. I don't know what the prices are or will be in this crazy market. I used to be able to buy them for like less than $10. I have a feeling it's probably gonna be much more than that nowadays, just because everyone is going crazy for Pokemon cards right now. But not all cards are expensive. Okay, so for example, when the Japanese version of Vivid Voltage came out, when you buy a booster box, you get 5 packs of these promo cards. Inside there's Sao Holo Pikachu. Okay, that Sao Pikachu, you could have gotten it for $5 US on eBay. Inexpensive, $5. If your budget's $50 a month, you could have picked up 10 of these if you want. Okay, I don't know why you want 10 copies, but I'm just saying it's only $5 a copy. So it's very affordable and it's very unique. I don't know if it will come to English side or not, but definitely Japanese promos is another area to keep an eye on for unique and affordable Pokemon cards. So I've given you a few starting points, and I just want to touch base on just wheeling it back to how, okay, the how part to start collecting the Pokemon cards. And so we're going to wrap this video with just staying engaged, okay? There are several big news sites that will tell you the latest Pokemon news, whether it's video games, trading card games, TV shows, whatever. You know, just check the website once a day, maybe while you're in the toilet, before you go to bed, maybe first thing you do when you wake up, while you're on the bus, whatever. Just stay engaged, right? Just by reading up on the news, okay? See what the new hype is, okay? Maybe follow some other YouTubers who likes to do monthly recaps on what's trending in the market, what's going up, what's going down, okay? So you don't necessarily have to be involved with playing the card game competitively, but if you want to be a collector, you still have to have a level of engagement by knowing what is coming out in the market. How do you obtain those cards right away? Because the longer it goes, supply is going to wind down and price starts to go up, right? So you want to know how to get it, and if it's going to be a rare product, you might want to be one of the first few to grab them before price starts to go up. And again, I just want to remind you, stick to your budget, okay? Very important before you go down this rabbit hole, because if you don't stick to your budget, you're gonna buy everything. There's just so much to buy out there, okay? Stick to your budget, stay focused on what you want, okay? If you want to if you're a set collection person, maybe finish one set before starting 9 other sets, okay? If you're a side deck person, maybe start with the big ticket item first, okay? You might have to save up for a few months before you start it, but once you knock that big ticket item out of the way, the rest will be easy. Or you might want to go the other way, and you might just want to start with the most modern product and work your way back as your income increase later on. So I just can't emphasize the importance of sticking with your budget, and that will give you some good foundation for cash flow management. I think that's it for today. If you find this video helpful, please give me a thumbs like, click the subscribe button, leave a comment below what got you in the hobby, and what was the first card that you bought when you got back into the hobby. Okay, I look forward to reading some of your comments and start a dialogue with you guys. Okay, talk to you guys in the next video.